Send a spearman on the wall. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Rogers, Game Director on Path of Exile 2, and welcome to GGG Live.
Is that good?
Today we're going to show you an exclusive reveal for what's coming next for Path of Exile 2. Twitch drops are enabled on today's live stream, so you'll be able to claim your Verdant Wilds dodge roll effect by following the instructions below. Now today, it's finally time to show off a new class
It looks like
that we
your
know
character
everyone in
doesn't
the community's
shower.
been waiting for. So let's roll the trailer for
New
Path of
class!
Exile 2, The Last of the Druids.
Druids! Furries rejoice! He's naked! What? That's a badass.
Well, well. What have we got here then?
You lost, fella?
Hey, we're talking to you.
I asked you a question.
Oh! Oh my god.
What's wrong with him?
He's lost his bloody mind.
Rawr! Wait, that's a bear? That looks sick! It kinda looks like a wolf bear. It does look like a wolf and a bear had sex and had that thing, right? A bat! A freaking wyvern? This is sick! What the fuck?
I will find you, Eve.
11.
Now, as you can see, the Druid is a shape-shifting elemental spellcaster. After his fellow Druids were destroyed by the King in the Mists, the Druid lost his humanity in the forests of Ogham, where he wandered for years as a beast.
Ah!
Now, finally reawakened, he's determined to find his lost wife and regain his humanity.
His wife.
The Druid has been one of the hardest classes for us to design. As well as having human spells, he has 3 animal forms, and we wanted to make sure that there were interesting combos between all of them. The Druid is our first hybrid strength and intelligence class. That means he needs to have the ability to use spells and attacks. As a human, the Druid typically uses magical staves to harness the powers of the earth and the natural world.
I wonder if it's possible to always
One of
be
the
a
first
dragon.
skills you will learn is the ability to create small
No, his
volcanoes
ass is
from
bad,
the earth.
actually.
This skill spits out balls of magma at your enemies, and will continue to do so for some time. While the volcano is active, turn into an animal and wade into melee range. Many of the skills you use as a human last for a significant period
Please
of
do
time,
more than 7
giving you a
then.
good chance to turn into an animal and rage out.
Rawr!
But how do you turn into an animal, you may ask? Well, the answer is a new weapon type that Druids use, animal talismans. When you equip an
Sick!
animal talisman, you can choose which animal form you would like the talisman to represent. Depending on what you choose, you'll be given that animal's basic attack as a new skill to equip. For a bear,
He's so
that's maul.
cute!
To turn into a bear, simply use the skill. Your character will instantly transform into a bear and attack.
Oh my gosh.
If you want to change back to a human, just cast a spell. You will instantly swap back and cast it. We wanted to make sure that swapping between forms was seamless and immediate.
Oh my
Changing
gosh.
forms should be something that you do without even thinking about it all the time in battle.
Guys, I lost my bear
In
costume.
order to allow for hybrid melee and caster gameplay, most of the skills you use in your human form last for some time and aid your animal skills in some way. The volcano we used earlier will emit more molten balls whenever you hit it with a slam, making it perfect for use with your bear form's furious slam.
Wait, but how long can you stay as a... No! He was
While in
on
bear
them!
form, many of your abilities use rage. There are a lot of ways to generate rage, but the easiest one is simply smash your enemies with maul. Once you see
Yes.
the runes on your back glowing, it
Path
means you
of
have
Exile
enough rage
drops
to do
are
a
all
much
in
more
it.
devastating version of your furious slam. Your bear form can also go on a rampage, stomping the ground as you demolish your foes.
Oh, there you go. Stop.
The more rage you have, the longer the rampage lasts, and doing it over a volcano makes it even better.
He's mash.
As you consume rage, your bear form will generate endurance charges, and these can be used with skills like Ferocious Roar.
Can you always be a bear?
Ferocious Roar is a war cry that empowers your subsequent attacks to break your opponent's armor. The more endurance charges you have when you use it, the more empowered attacks you will gain. But Ferocious Roar has
you
another
guys
special
know?
feature too. It's a meta gem that allows you to socket any Warcry gem from another class into it, giving you the ability to use these skills as a bear.
What?
Use the Warrior's Infernal Cry skill to make your enemies explode.
I bet you can beat the game as a bear.
Or use Seismic Cry to stun your enemies and double up the number of slams you do.
He's literally just running
You
and
can even
destroying
use it with
everything.
Ancestral Call, a skill that turns you into the fire god
It's View the
Khal.
bear.
Ever wondered what the Karui god of war would look like if he was a bear? Well, wait no longer. Finally, build up enough rage and you can use one of the bear's ultimate abilities, Walking Calamity. This skill summons a storm of fire around you for some time, while generating even more rage to power your other abilities. A true bear-pocalypse.
Bear
Now, the bear
apocalypse.
is known for being a slower and more lumbering animal, with slower attacks and heavy slams. But what if you want to turn into something a little more nimble? Well, let's check out the second animal form for the Druid, wolf form. For the wolf form, we wanted to go fast and furious. Even just the wolf's basic attack will leap forward and rake his foes. After attacking, the wolf stands up on two legs, but after running for a short time, he goes back on all fours, allowing to move more quickly between packs of enemies.
Oh, so
The
the
wolf
bear
has a
is
lot
always
of cold
in two
attacks
legs.
based on his association with the moon, and the first of these is Lunar Assault. It's great for freezing your enemies in place. After they're frozen,
He
use your
seems
basic
weaker
rake
than the
attack to
bear.
knock shards of ice off your
There is no
enemies,
boost
which
for
land on
him.
the ground nearby and explode. If you want to get into battle quickly, you can use your Pounce
What do you
attack.
guys think?
This skill leaps at a target
Say one
and
if you
applies a
prefer
mark
the
to them.
bird, two if you prefer the
Killing the
wolf.
marked enemy will summon a wolfman into your side, allowing them to fight with you. Mark and kill as many enemies as you can to build up a sizable pack. While an enemy is marked, your wolves will prioritize that target and do more damage the more wolves you have, so make sure you keep your pack strong. Now, one problem you might run into
I
is your
think I
wolf
prefer
pack
the bear.
dying in boss fights. You often don't have any enemies that you can mark and kill in order to regenerate your pack. To deal with this problem, you can use Cross Slash. Cross Slash jumps backwards and does a vicious double slash. Any marks on your target explode and triggers their abilities. This allows you to pounce to mark an enemy and then summon a wolf even without killing it. Cross Slash also has another
Okay.
feature though. Remember those ice fragments from before? Well, Cross Slash will propel any ice shards on the ground towards its central target. First, freeze your enemies with Lunar Assault. Then rake them to create as many ice fragments as you can. Then follow up with Cross Slash to generate a field of icy explosions to obliterate your enemies.
This is sick.
If they're still alive after that, your pack of wolves can finish them off. Just like with the bear's raw skill earlier that allows you to use skills from other classes, Pounce is also a meta gem that you can socket mark skills from other classes into. So for example, you might want to try adding Freezing Mark from the Monk to Pounce. After pouncing at an enemy, Cross Slash to explode the mark and gain extra cold damage for a time. The wolf has many other ways to go all in on cold though. Using the Arctic Howl Warcry will allow you to add cold damage and chilled ground to any slam, while buffing your pack of wolves as well.
I
You
just
can
don't
also
like
use it to
seeing
freeze enemies that are
dogs
close to being
dying.
frozen, making it much faster to use your other combos. Finally, the wolf also has the ability to call down the power of the moon to transform into an Arctic werewolf with
Oh, that's
Lunar
pretty.
Blessing.
That's very pretty.
In this form, you move and attack more quickly and deal extra cold damage. Consuming Rage will extend the duration of your Arctic wolf form, so you could try a hybrid bear and wolf build if you want to utilize the skill to its full effect.
Nice.
Alright, let's talk about the third form available to the Druid, and I think it's a
What?
cool one. The Wyvern. The Wyvern has a number of long-range breath abilities. But that
Okay,
doesn't mean you
one
can't get
for
into melee
bear,
range when you want to.
2 for wolf, 3 for
The basic
wyvern.
attack of the Wyvern is Rend. Jump forward into combat and slash your enemies with your lethal talons. If they're close to being stunned, you can blow them off balance with a blast from your wings, causing an explosion of damage.
I think I'll take 3.
After the battle though, it's time to feed. Devour the corpses of monsters to create power charges, and this is when the Wyvern's abilities really come online. When using Rend, you can consume a power charge to charge up your wings with lightning. Not only does this do a bunch of damage, but it allows you to turn this melee skill into a much larger AoE attack. Once your wings are charged, your Wing Blast will also do lightning
That's
explosions for
funny.
even more damage.
Bullish OP.
If your enemies are close to death, no need to wait for them to actually die. When you see this blue marker, just devour them alive. Fresh meat is much tastier after all.
You can just eat
Alright,
your
so
enemies
those are some melee
alive!
options, but how
High
about
five!
range? Well, you wouldn't be much of a dragon if you couldn't breathe fire after all. Rolling Magma is the first of the Wyvern's breath attacks. Spit balls of fire that bounce along the ground. These balls will trigger volcanoes as well, so it's a good idea to cast one as a human right before you start spitting.
Nice. This is sick.
But that's not all you can spit. You have something a little nastier in that gullet of yours. Spitting a barrage of oil at your enemies will cover them in a viscous sludge that makes them
Oil?
easier to ignite. If you have power charges though, plant your wings in the ground and vomit a barrage of lightning-infused projectiles. The more power charges you have, the longer you can do this for.
High five
But make
for
sure you keep your foes
vomit!
at range. You're vulnerable to
And
melee attacks or
grease!
channeling this skill.
Imagining
In order to
vomiting
help with that,
grease.
let's take a quick
Ew.
diversion back to some of your human abilities. As a Druid of Scoth, you have the ability to harness the power of nature
Grease.
to create entangling vines to slow down your enemies. Another of nature's punishments is the thunderstorm. Creating one of these will create periodic strikes of lightning from the sky, and will also make your enemies wet. Why is that useful? Well, of course, things that are wet are easier to shock. Use it with
Oh!
lightning damage from your Wyvern form to enhance your damage.
I was thinking about
Making
something
things
else.
wet also makes them easier to freeze, so it works nicely with your wolf form as well. And you know what else likes water? Plants. Water your plants to give them various extra abilities. Use Lightning Storm with Entangle to make them last longer, and attach more vines to each enemy, slowing them further. Summon Thrashing Vines to slam at your enemies for a time. Any that are created in water will be larger and deal more damage.
Nice. And it adds
Now
some
then, with our
fiber
enemies
to the
sufficiently
diet.
subdued with our plants, time to really lay into them with our lightning-infused barrage. Now, this last Wyvern ability is just ridiculous, but we felt like we had to do it. Use Flame Breath to take to the skies and rain down a stream of fire on your enemies.
You can
You have
fly?
wings, so we have to take full advantage of them after all. So fly around and burn in it.
What the fuck?
Now there are a few other skills we didn't cover, but there's one in particular that I think will open up a lot of builds. Spell Totems. Spell Totems are meta gems that let you create a totem that will automatically cast any spell in the game for a time. In order to create one, you will need to spend 3 endurance or 3 power charges. You could use them to throw fireballs, summon comets, or shower the area in
But
lightning.
now their other classes
Really,
are
the options
lame.
are kind of endless. Your bear form can easily generate endurance charges by consuming rage, and your wyvern form can easily create power charges by eating corpses. So it's pretty easy for the druid to get the charges needed. But they're
Nice.
also available from quite a few other places as well. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot of different spellcaster classes thinking about how best to take advantage of these.
But you can transform into a
Now, of
freaking
course,
wyvern
along
and
with a new class
fly.
comes a bunch of new support gems. We've added over 30 new supports throughout the game, but I'll show you a few of the cooler ones here. Fan the Flames can be added to any wind skill to spread fire from one ignited enemy to the other enemies behind them. It's great for the Wyvern's Wing Blast. But you can also use it on many other classes with wind skills, like the Twisters on the Huntress, or the Monk's Staggering Palm Projectiles. Accelerated Growth causes extra explosive plants to erupt from the ground whenever you grow plants with rain.
Nice. Chaos. It
And
looks like
Advancing
chaos
Storm
thing,
changes
right?
storm skills like your Thunderstorm or Tornado to move across the battlefield. It's great for watering plants en masse, or to turn tornadoes into a real disaster by sucking up multiple ground effects as they travel along.
That looks so fucking pretty. What the fuck?
And the Sorceress might like to use it with Firestorm as well. Echoing Cry causes your Warcry skills to echo. They will repeat a couple more times with a delay after you use them, giving you more empowered attacks. Use it for the Druid's animal form Warcries, or on the Warrior for a nice power boost. Grounding Shocks causes monsters you shock to
Is the
turn into
warrior
living Tesla
useful
coils,
enough?
arcing lightning to nearby enemies. You
Like,
could
why
use it
the
with your
hell would you
empowered
use a
wings for extra
warrior when
damage
you can
boost,
be a wyvern?
but it's also great with any other shocking skill. Try it out with Lightning Spear. It obviously needed more AoE clear. There's a whole pile more, but we'll leave those for you to
Yeah,
discover.
like, what's the point of the warrior now?
Now with a new class comes new ascendancy classes. The Druid will have 2 options for now, with a third being released later. The first class is the Shaman. The Shaman channels nature's elemental fury and can harness rage as a spellcaster, unifying his animalistic and magical tendencies. By allocating Druidic Champion, you gain spell damage the angrier you are, and with Furious Wellspring, you generate rage continuously and can spend it to empower
Yo,
your spells. With the knowledge of the Asmerian Magi, the Shaman can harness untapped power from runes and idols. After allocating Wisdom of the Magi, you will notice that all runes and idols have extra mods only available to the Shaman. These new mods unlock countless new possibilities for enhancing your build. You can also allocate Bringer of the Apocalypse, allowing you to become a walking natural disaster.
what?
After dealing enough elemental damage, storms of all elements rain around you, destroying all who would face nature's fury. There are other abilities for the Shaman, but I'll just show a few from each class for now. The other Druid ascendancy is the Oracle. The Oracle perfected the power of foresight and utilizes this in combat to gain massive advantage. When taking Fateful Vision, you will see visions of your future self using specific skills. If you decide to follow this path by using the skill yourself, it will do significantly more damage.
What?
And with Converging Paths, at a critical moment in battle when a monster is vulnerable to freeze, stun,
spoiler
or
guy.
execution, the Oracle can use Moment of Vulnerability to see a vision of the enemy's future, and then merge it with the current timeline, allowing him to deal damage to both.
What?
And one of my favorites, when you first become an Oracle, you'll notice over 130 new extra passives appear in the Druid section of the tree.
There's people jerking off to
Allocating
the
the
skill tree
unseen
right now.
path, you use your power of foresight to learn from alternate futures and gain skills that would otherwise be unavailable to you. For example, self-sacrificing allows you to be able to summon more minions by reducing their spirit costs, with the
What
trade-off
the?
of making your reservation skills cost more spirit. Or Corruption Endures, which allows oracles to have a small chance to avoid death. Both the Druid ascendancies offer interesting and unique ways to gain modifiers that no other classes can get, so we're expecting a huge variety of build possibilities from these. Now there are unique talismans for the Druid to use as well. We won't spoil all of them, but this one was particularly cool. Fury of the King turns your bear form into a fire demon, converting most of your damage to fire. As a demon, you can also use Molten Crash, a jumping slam attack that leaves fissures around you.
They made this
unique
class so
also
cool! The
continuously
other
grants
classes
glory,
don't matter
allowing you
now!
to use your ultimate abilities more easily. Now, of course, the Druid isn't the only thing we're adding to 040. We still have a bunch more to show. With every new release, we create a new league with new mechanics, new pinnacle bosses, and with a new story to tell. And this time is no exception. So let's roll the trailer for the fate of the Vaal.
The palace of Queen Atziri.
Yes, it's a free update.
It is a ruin, but in the dark, machines still churn.
Cinema.
The temple has many functions, and with it, a chance to save the Vaal.
Sick.
A gateway through time.
Oh, I actually love these.
Traveling
I love
to the
doing
past
this.
again and again. Alter the temple. Uncover its secrets.
Do you guys think Atziri is gonna be there?
You will be rewarded for your sacrifice. And somewhere in the deepest chamber, my queen awaits. I beg of you, hear me. The beast cannot give you what you desire.
You may have studied it, Doriani, but you do not know it like I do.
Boba!
It adores me.
That's a nice ass. That's a lot nicer than the
Come now.
Druid's ass.
Give unto me your desire, At last, fulfill my soul.
Smash! Damn, this is looking sick! What the fuck?
Hi, I'm Mark Roberts,
Hi.
Game Director on Path of Exile. In the fate
Holy
of the Vaal
butt.
League, you will find remnants of the
Fucking-
ancient Vaal civilization scattered throughout Rayclast. They seem to attract nearby creatures and affect them strangely. After killing them, the remnant appears to gain some amount of power, but not enough to fully activate it. It
No,
seems
that's
you
the
will need
same
to find
game
5
still.
more of these arcane
It's just a
devices,
FF because I
and
tend to be over
sacrifice
the
the
stuff.
monsters you find there to fully activate one. But things don't always go to plan. These devices are old, and sometimes infected by corruption. Twisted versions of ancient Vaal may emerge, and sometimes even stronger foes. On fully activating one of the devices,
The bear
you
has a
finally
nice
discover
ass.
its true purpose. A portal opens and takes you deep underground to a lost temple.
The bear's
Once
ass
the
kind of
home
looked
of
like the
Atziri,
girl's ass,
Queen of the Vaal.
but like with more fur.
What treasures could still be inside? I think you're gonna want to find out. In front of the entrance is a console of some kind, and on activating it, you can see a map of the temple. Atziri's personal chambers are on the far side, but how could anyone get there? There are disconnected
get to her
rooms, and the
personal
layout doesn't
chambers,
seem to make
guys?
sense. And that's when you realize the purpose of the ancient devices scattered through Rayclast. The temple is powered by sacrifice,
For Baba!
and this energy can be used to modify the very structure of the temple itself. Each time you run the temple, you will be given 6 rooms that you can place,
It does feel like
allowing you to
blueprints.
craft your own dungeon to explore. Place
Sick.
paths to link up the dungeon, and place rooms beside them full of precious loot. After you are happy with your choices, open the temple and discover the results of your efforts.
Sax rooms. He said it.
Each room contains different challenges along with its rewards. On entering a room, the doors will slam shut behind you, and you will need to face the encounter within.
I wonder how many
But
times
choose
they had to
wisely.
pass
It's
by that
important
statue
where you place
without
the
stopping.
rooms to get maximum returns. For example, when placing a commander, you could just place it anywhere along an existing path, but a much better strategy is to place it next to a garrison of troops for him to command.
But that also makes the troops harder.
With better leadership, the garrison will level up, making the monsters harder, but also more rewarding. Different rooms have different requirements for leveling up. For example, if you want to fully level up a smithy, you will need to supply it with golems from an adjacent golem works, and hook up a generator to the power network to supply it with power. After doing so, the golems will be powered
you
up,
also hook up
making
Atziri?
them much more dangerous.
Atziri, sorry.
You don't need to memorize what interacts with what. When selecting a room, you will be shown the locations that will make other rooms level up, and exactly what effect it will have on the temple.
Yeah. Okay, fine. I'll spray myself.
After running the temple,
Oh
a few
no,
of
I
the
sprayed
rooms will
both.
destabilize and be removed. It will be up to you to rebuild the temple, adding 6 more rooms each time you come back, making the temple larger and larger and larger. So, that's the basic functionality of the temple, but there is a lot more.
Oh, we
Once
large.
Doriani finds out about your travels to Lera Vaal, he will attempt to persuade you to take on a new mission. The temple entrance contains a prototype of the time portal device. It will be able to take you back in time, but only to one specific point, right before Atziri triggered the cataclysm that destroyed the Vaal. He requests that you go back and attempt to stop Atziri to prevent the Vaal from ever being destroyed.
Nice.
Atziri is on the far side of the temple, so you will need to expand the temple significantly to get to her.
God, she's so cute.
And even worse, her chambers can only be unlocked by a room that isn't currently accessible to you.
What?
In order to deal with that, you are going to need to visit the architect of the temple. To get to him, you will need to place path rooms. But
Who
while
lost his
doing so,
arm?
you will probably want to exploit some of the Vaal technology only available in the past. Once you can travel into the past, a whole new set of rooms are available to you, and they have some pretty insane rewards. At level 1, the Corruption Chamber can be used to corrupt a single item. But placing it next to a Thaumaturge to run the place, and a Sacrificial Chamber to provide soul energy, you'll be able to level it up. And it's worth it. Because once you get the room to level 3, there are some very nice rewards to be had. In a level 3 Corruption Chamber, you will find this mysterious device. It has a slot to place an item, and it only accepts items that are already corrupted. What will happen to them? Well, normally once an item is corrupted, you can't modify it any further. But this device allows you to corrupt your item a second time, adding another enchantment. This has the capability to craft some very powerful items indeed. But be warned, the Vaal are all about taking risks in the pursuit of power. There is a 50% chance that the item will be destroyed.
Block! Guys, can you help clean the floor?
Each room has its own interesting mechanics and rewards when it levels up. Many of them contain bosses to fight, special drops, and in many cases, new crafting opportunities.
Very kind of you.
For example, a level 3 alchemy lab has a nasty Vaal construct to fight. But if you can defeat it, you can find new corrupted soul cores.
God,
like
this looks so
Luality's
good.
Thesis, which on boots allows you to sacrifice your life to run faster. Or Qualotl's Thesis, which on gloves will revive one of your minions whenever an offering expires. Get a Sacrificial Chamber to level 3, and you will need to face a Highborn Priest of Sacrifice. Defeat him to be able to further corrupt a Vaal unique, modifying it in unpredictable ways.
Sorry, I missed what he said. I was
One of
thinking
the mods
build.
of this unique will be removed and replaced with another random mod. For example, this Soul Mantle. It gives you an additional totem, but lowers your totem's life and curses you when they die. By using the machine, this could result in a terrible item if you remove the good mod, but also some amazing items if you replace the downside.
Dang!
Now, one extra thing to mention about these Vaal crafting machines. You don't have to take the items you want to craft into the temple. If you don't have the item you want to craft with you at the time, then clicking this button will allow you to create a currency item instead, allowing you to do the craft later or trade it if you want.
New currency?
Now, there are all sorts of interesting rooms you can find in the temple, but the last one I want to show you today is the Flesh Surgeon. A Vaal Flesh Surgeon can be leveled up by placing him next to a high-level synth flesh lab. But be careful. The Flesh Surgeon has some rather unpleasant experiments in his personal lab.
He has 4 boobs as well.
Afterwards, you might notice the surgery table just sitting there. The Vaal are great at crafting items. Why not do some crafting on yourself? After laying down, you'll be asked which limb you'd like to replace. Left arm, perhaps your right leg. Each limb can get a different set of random bonuses, so choose wisely. After getting up from the table, try out your new limb. It seems to work fine, and even perform better than your normal one. Now, there is just one thing with replacing body parts. If you die and are resurrected, your body will return to its natural state. You might need to return to the Vaal Surgeons if you want another robot arm, and maybe get a better one next time.
Sick! What the fuck is this update? What the hell?
Some rooms, like the Commander, can give you a new type of reward. Medallions that can be used to manipulate the temple in other ways. Using a Qualotl's medallion will allow you to artificially boost a room, even if it doesn't meet the normal requirements to level up. And a Huatalotli's medallion will stop rooms from destabilizing when you complete a temple, allowing you to guarantee getting a reward a second time. Great if you want to stock up on double corrupts.
Nice.
Now, with all that aside, time to face the Architect, and you will be in for a fight.
It's a puzzle fight.
Once defeated, you will find another console that can be used to modify the temple. But this one is special. It allows you to place new types of rooms with specific rewards. There are rooms with specific uniques, special runes, and currency. But also a few other, more niche crafting experiments. Like this one, that can extract the socket balls back out of an item, at the cost of destroying it.
Nice. That's not bad.
Now, something really important is every league we release a significant amount of content for the in-game. In order to make sure that the Fate of the Vaal works well for late-game players, we've added many mechanics to make sure that you can scale the difficulty and rewards to match. Getting some rooms to level 3 adds extra mods to the entire dungeon, and these stack with each other. So in Endgame, when you can get some really big temples, you can generate a challenge that can even match the strongest of characters. We also start to introduce ways to store up energy for the temple, allowing you to save up many runs so you can do them later at your leisure, and not interrupt your mapping too often. Now in each league, it's important that we have a new pinnacle boss to test your character's might. In the Fate of the Vaal, you will get to face Atziri, while she was at the peak of her power.
They're from New Zealand.
One of the rewards you will gain by defeating the Architect is the ability to place the Royal Access Chamber. Once connected to your temple, you can visit it to finally reach the Queen of the Vaal herself. This fight takes place at a critical moment in history, right as Atziri communes with the beast's power and takes her true corrupted form. Now, we are not going to show you the whole fight, but we will tempt you with one of the rewards. This is Atziri's Rule. This staff gives additional levels to all of your corrupted gems and lets you trade life for extra damage. But in addition to that, while using the staff, mirrors of refraction will constantly appear on the battlefield. Any projectile you fire at these will split into a nova, and they can chain from one to the other. So,
did you guys hear what he said after we saw
but
Atziri?
we are also bringing the previous league, Rise of the Abyssal, into the core game, along with a few changes.
We're not done
Now,
yet?
for those of you who haven't seen what happens when a league is over, it's important to understand that you will not be seeing abysses in every area anymore.
Yes.
Rise of the Abyssal is now
What?
one of the league mechanics that can show up randomly in endgame. If you want to specialize in running abysses, there is now a tablet that will allow you to add them to any map you run. You can also craft the tablet to add abyss-specific mods to enhance how they function. Now that Abyss is core, it also needs its own Atlas tree. You can gain your first points by completing an Abyss,
I kind of like
but there are
Abyss.
more available for doing depths and killing certain bosses. And there are a bunch
like
of
Abyss.
different options. You might just want more monsters and bosses, but you can also make finishing an Abyss have a chance to overrun a nearby map with the Abyssal.
Do you guys think we have a
Or
skill to
make
trad
your
more
Waystone
boosts
modifiers
to Atziri?
also apply to Abyssal depths. You could specialize in the interaction with other leagues, or specialize in a specific Abyssal faction. One of the important elements that we have heard loud and clear is that needing to do Abyss crafting on Waystones is quite annoying. So, we have removed that.
What?
In fact, we have removed instilling from Waystones as well. This mechanic felt mandatory on maps because it boosted the value of all other content, but it was both annoying to do and resulted in a lot of visual clutter.
Dang!
Instead, we are bringing back some of that power on tablets, which you don't need to craft nearly as often, since they last for 10 maps each.
Okay.
Once you defeat the Arbiter of Ash, you will be able to upgrade tablets to a rare with 4 mods using regular currency. Even this isn't enough to fully bring back the power you could have gotten from instilling, so we have also buffed the bonuses that tablets give.
Sick!
Going forward, we're not going to be adding any more crafting directly to waystones outside of the basic currency, because it adds too much micromanagement. But on
It's
that
nice
note,
that they're thinking
Fate
about
of the
this.
Vaal does bring the ability to corrupt your tablets, hoping to get one of many different random outcomes. Now, with regard to Delirium Fog, even though you shouldn't have to have it on every map anymore,
I kinda like the
we still
fog.
did want to make it less visually annoying.
Oh.
Delirium Fog has been toned down significantly,
But-
so you won't feel like you're just playing in a sea of grey.
Okay, that's nice. It was a little bit
Another
much.
big source of problems in the endgame is the feeling of getting overwhelmed with monsters. In 031, we reduced the number of monsters in early endgame
Less
in order to help with
monsters?
this, but still scaled up the number of monsters to previous levels by the time you got to tier 15. Well, after letting this simmer for a while, we are still getting this kind of feedback. So we are no longer going to scale up the number of monsters you go as you get deeper into the endgame. Instead, we are scaling up the difficulty and rewards by the same amount. So to be clear, instead of increasing the number of monsters by 40%, they will instead drop 40% more items,
What?
grant 40% more experience, and have 40% more life. In addition to all the normal scaling they get due to being higher level.
I don't
This
know how I
only
feel about
applies
that
to
because I
regular
kind of like
monsters, not
killing
bosses.
a lot of monsters.
We have also reduced the speed modifiers that monsters can get sometimes, which also helps a lot with this. Now, we did have a large amount of content for endgame planned for 040, but unfortunately we just didn't get time to finish it. The scope was a bit too large, and so we'll need to wait until 050 for that. But rest assured, there will be a ton of upgrades for the existing leagues, as well as new pinnacle bosses, and a significant overhaul to the Atlas passive tree coming soon. Now, another problem that becomes a much bigger issue in the endgame is game performance. And we have done a lot of work here. The primary issue is CPU load. And to address that, a lot of things have been optimized. And we have done a lot of work to take advantage of more of your CPU
You're
cores.
welcome.
You should see frame rates of at least 25% higher,
Nice.
and a lot less bad frame spikes during gameplay. It does make quite a big difference, especially on consoles.
Okay.
A lot more work in this area is ongoing,
What the hell is
and you will
this
continue
update?
to see performance
I feel
improvements
like I
over the
say
next
this
few
in
months.
every Path of Exile update.
Of course,
And I was like, what?
another important area is game balance, and we have made a lot of changes. Now, most of these we will save for the patch notes, but I'll do a quick summary of some of the numbers. As well as adding 11 new unique items, we have rebalanced dozens of others that are not currently used very often. We've also done a pass over lineage supports. 21 of them have been rebalanced, as well as adding 9 more. Alongside the 2 new Druid ascendancies, we have made balance changes to almost all the others.
I don't
with
think
some
anyone's
of
going to
them
be
getting a
playing
grander
Warrior though.
rebalance, such as the Smith of Katava. Alongside the 20 plus new Druid skills, we've also rebalanced 90 other active skills across all the different classes. And to top it all off, there are also over 250 new passive skills added to the passive tree. These changes should go a long way to increase the viability of many more skills,
Think about where to
uniques,
go.
and overall build variety that can tackle our most challenging content.
Mwah.
Next up, we're going to be talking about our new supporter packs.
Sick.
Today, we're launching 2 new series of supporter
Oh my
packs.
goodness,
The
look at his
Precursor and
legs!
Kalsburan packs.
Look at
Each
his
tier
little
contains the
legs!
pack's full face value in points, alongside several exclusive microtransactions. As always, the microtransactions in these packs are purely cosmetic and do not affect your character's power or progression in any way. The Precursor series of supporter packs contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Sex?
First up, the Marble Statue Character Effect. Once you finally stay still for a moment, a podium rises up out of the ground to immortalize you, turning your skin to marble. When you next move,
God.
the stone crumbles around you. The Precursors
cool.
have mastery over gravity manipulation. So too can you, now with the Gravity Well portal. Witness the power of its pull as you approach it.
Nice.
Draw in enemies with your own gravitational pull with the Awakened Precursor armor set. The Precursors designed and built many
Cute.
mysterious ancient beings.
Oh, look how
This
cute
one
he
used to
is.
serve as a scout that would patrol and tase intruders. Why salvage gear yourself when the Master of the Forge can do it for you?
He's MASH.
Molten gold spills out as the Forge Master breaks down your items.
Nice.
The Relic of the Precursor's map device is a mysterious machine that sits atop ancient colossal statues. It keeps track of the number of charges consumed on your Precursor tablets used in the device. The Kalguran Pack series also contains 6 exclusive microtransactions.
Sex. I love the tentacles.
The Kalgurans had astounding skill in astronomy, being able to track cosmic events with absolute precision. Harnessing that skill, with the Astronomer's level up effect equipped, you too can now see exactly how long it took you to level up as it outputs the time in chat. The time taken to reach your last 3 levels is also displayed on the item, so you can link it when you have a time you're proud of. Crush unique enemies by unleashing the wrath of the lost Kalguran fleet, led formerly by Captain Heartland himself. A Kalguran seafarer needs armor fit for the treacherous
Alright.
seas of Rayclast. This set has you covered with the classic tricorn and, of course, a peg leg.
What about the parrot?
The Lost Treasure weapon skins top off your appearance of a true raider of the seas. These gilded weapons can be applied to wands, two-hand maces, and shields.
Booba!
After a long day of plundering loot, retreat to the Kraken's Cove hideout, a home of some of the most deadly, ocean-dwelling creatures in Rayclast. Many ships have met their demise here. What better to accompany you in Kraken's Cove than a kraken itself? Replace your stash with a dormant kraken waiting for its prey. As you approach, it will awaken and terrify both you and any guests in your hideout.
Ew.
Alongside this, an extra stash skin item will be granted to you, and when placed, will automatically open to any stash tab set with the currency affinity, to help having to navigate through your
Nice.
tabs. Additionally, any microtransactions from the supporter packs will be made available for use in Path of Exile 1.
That's insane.
Thank you very much for all your ongoing support. We're just about to start the Q&A with Ziggy D. Afterwards, at 11 a.m.
Damn,
NZ
what do you
time,
guys think of this?
we'll post the
this
patch
update?
notes. With release at the end of next week, our community team will be posting crucial
liked it.
information you'll need for the release. Keep an eye on the news. Thanks for joining us today and checking out our latest developments.
That was sick.
We're
so
looking
much.
forward to playing alongside our fellow shapeshifting exiles, all while uncovering lost Vaal secrets by
Dang.
doing some dungeon crafting. We'll begin the Q&A shortly, so please get your questions ready.
With questions. Guys, be so cute. Be so cute. Be so cute. That was sick. So soon we're gonna go back to do our siege fight. Yeah,
Welcome back, Exiles,
they
to
did put
the
a lot.
Q&A portion. I am your host, Ziggy D, and today we're going to be touching on the design of the Druid and the fate of the Vaal League while we gather some community questions. Then we'll deep dive into Endgame.
Yeah, no, we're
balance,
gonna watch
and
for a few
other
more
game
minutes and then
design
we go
topics.
back.
I am, of course, joined by game directors Jonathan Rogers and Mark Roberts. How you guys going today?
Oh, very good. I mean, you know,
Don't worry,
it's been a
guys.
It's been a great one to work on this one. Like, I've really enjoyed it. So, yeah, it's definitely great to see you again. And it feels like it's only been, like, no time at all since
I
the
would
last
only
episode.
ask boob questions.
It feels like only several weeks, and that's
If I was
accurate.
hosting
We get to
this,
see you twice as often
I
now,
would
so that's
only
fine.
ask about the
Around every
boobs
2
that we
months or
saw.
so now, roughly. It's great. I love it. That's
Maybe
good
he'll
going.
do the same.
So I do have to open with this though. Is like Druid looked a little bit weak, I think, in the demonstration video today.
Yeah, I think one of the issues that we have is like we're so concentrating on like just demonstrating how the mechanics work that we sort of forget to be like, okay, let's actually make sure the damage numbers that we're doing on this like test character we're filming here are actually like in line with what people actually normally expect.
Yeah,
So,
I would
there's a few
complain
things there
that the
we probably
Druid
should have,
deserved a better
should have
ass.
caught and made a little stronger there. But yeah, when you actually play it, it's certainly from the alpha feedback incredibly powerful. Like
Yes.
you know, the like you know, we were seeing some people say, oh, you know, the wolf looks weak or whatever. Well, I can assure you that on alpha, there's a bunch of people saying the wolf is super OP. So, you know, it just comes down to
Why would you say that, Genius?
things you go through in order
They
to
clearly
demonstrate.
do a
think
lot
we,
every patch.
Probably
That
going to
makes
be
no
worthwhile.
sense.
We make some videos showing a bit more of the less demonstraty side and get them posted and stuff this week. Because honestly, you can just play it literally right now, and it's you know.
Yeah, I've definitely been playing and recording a bit myself because I was like, when I first watched it as well, the draft, I was thinking, it's like I don't really get a feel for what it feels like to actually play it. There's good demonstration here of the mechanics, but yeah, I can understand how from your perspective it'd be pretty easy to be like, oh, I want to communicate how this cool thing works and this cool thing works.
There's a fine line there for sure. Where if you get too hectic, people are like, I don't even know what's going on. They're just looking at a ruckus. And then, in this case, I'd say we went on a little too far on the other side of the line, was just a bit too slow. And as a result, yes, it can look a bit weak. But
I think we'll try and get some like raw Druid gameplay out to people to understand it. I think particularly for this class, because of the shape-shifting stuff, it's so hard for us to... Normally we can look at something and be like, oh, that's just a demonstration. We kind of know what it would look like at endgame. But I think with the Druid, it's just so unusual. It's so different that it's actually hard to judge what it would feel like to even play it. And I'm happy from my hands on to say that like it's almost immediately like very smooth. The shape shifting of it, the movement of it, especially because like
is he saying he's a furry and he likes bears' ass?
Big difference.
That bear had a great ass. I cannot blame him.
Is that we do actually have dodge roll. I mean, they're not actually rolls for the animals, but
did you guys see that bear's ass?
Hop around. And
it was better than
Atziri.
Atziri.
One of those things that was like kind of funny because initially we actually had it so when you dodge rolled, you would transform back into a human. And the reason we did that is because it's really hard to make animations for animals that like actually work correctly. Like we actually thought it was impossible, but then when we actually put it on alpha, there was the kind of visceral reaction of I want to still be a bear, like you know, while I'm hopping around. So we ended up having to like work out like how
you
can
think
we
bears don't have real
asses? Make it
asses?
so that you can actually do the dodge rolling as an animal, and that sort of ended up being pretty good, I would say.
And this was like clearly the hardest class to design so far, and it took a bit longer. Like I think you were originally hoping to bring it out in a previous expansion.
Yeah, quite a while ago. But the thing is with it is that it's kind of like designing 4 classes in one, because not only do you have the situation where like obviously we want to have synergy between skills and stuff like that, and we can like look at that in a normal class and work out what those might be. But with this class, people want to be able to play just as a bear or just as a wolf, as well as people who want to play dual with a human and a wolf, or people who just want to be a wolf and a bear, and like all the different combinations. So we had to kind of come up with a way for like each line needs to be self-sufficient and that it's got all the tools that you need. But at the same time, you have to not have it so it feels like there's just duplication between them. We're like, oh, like this is just the same thing as what a bear has, but you know, you are a wolf instead. So we kind of have to like, it's like you need all the tools, and yet you also need to have
bear have?
Different. And that just made it really, really tricky to get all of the things right with it.
So they made the bear have a thick ass on purpose.
That, you know, since the last time we were working on the Druid, way back when we showed it off in Gamescom 2023, we had WSD. And that is a whole other complication because, you know, like how can we make that work with the animal forms? It's like a whole thing. You know, like I'll tell you the Wyvern, for example, like we had a hell of a time making it so that you could do the ranged attacks because you need to be able to walk while you're doing it. The Wyvern's sitting there with its arms like planted on the ground, you know, like being able to walk while also spinning it. Yeah, it's like we went through so many iterations of that. So yeah, it was just a very tricky class overall, like just crazy.
I remember seeing some very goofy looking like Wyvern like months and months ago.
Yeah.
We were like trying to, this is not working right.
Right.
Like,
well, I also remember like for a long time the wolf was just like a dancing dog. It was just like it looked really silly. And like man, the wolf as well. I mean, it was really hard to get right, and because one of the things we really wanted to avoid was I didn't want that too much of that whole like man in a wolf suit vibe. Yes. Like I wanted to actually get the feeling of like this is an actually different animal.
Okay, they didn't want to look like a furry.
Way easier. With the wolf, it's like
they wanted
really
to actually be a wolf.
Go back into that. So we had a lot of questions about like what even the locomotion. How does it walk? Are we going to walk on 2 legs? Are we going to walk on 4? We ended up splitting the difference. You can do both, right? Like you get that when you're attacking and you can be upright walking on 2 legs. When you're walking, you run on 4, and you actually do get a speed boost while you're on 4 legs. Like as a wolf, just so after like 1 second of walking, you go down on 4 legs. You start moving a bit faster. So yeah, it's
actually
pretty cool.
An interesting thing there. I don't think is
these guys don't do things by half today. No
passive benefit. Right. So obviously you got the.
I love how they literally go full in into making.
I can't remember exactly what the Wyvern ones were, but like for the bear, for example, because you're just a bit bigger, you know, a bit of a tank. Yeah, you actually do get armor, and armor applies to elemental damage as a thing, and like you know, there's a kind of which is like honestly, unless you actually click the bear keyword, is like undescribed everywhere.
Well, it was even more than that because I was just looking at it in game before. The bear has like passive endurance charge generation.
Yes, it
from
does.
Rage
So from
expenditure.
rage expenditure, it does.
I was like, that's so cool.
Yeah. So we really wanted to make sure that each of the different forms had things that can benefit the other forms. So like it was really tricky to think like, what are the resources that a bear can generate? What are the resources that wolf can generate? What are the ones the wyvern can generate that the other ones can then use in order to kind of get that cross synergy? So that's kind of like one of the reasons why we had to kind of come up with all that stuff. And that, part of the trickiness.
And that caught me by surprise as well, because like technically it's mentioned, but I never really fully understood the idea that you can swap between the forms. Like you know, into animal and back. Yeah, I figured that's what's going on here. But you can like leap in as a wolf and then immediately transform to a bear mid slam.
You absolutely can. So the thing with this is that you want to present a fantasy to someone as far as like what the UI is pushing you towards and all that sort of stuff. Like there are going to be a lot of people who are like, I want to be a bear, and they just pick bear stuff and they go all bear, right? But at the same time, we're unconstrained in the sense that you can pick all the other stuff. You can use it at the same time. So one talisman, like effectively when you click on a talisman from like wolf, bear, or wyvern, what that's giving you is the default attack, right? That's what you're actually picking, and that's all it is, right? And that often will guide you, like what skills you're picking and so on. But you can just use with that same talisman as many different animal skills as you would like, that just means that you've got that sort of free flowing, like trying out different stuff, sort of combo gameplay that we, like to try and get. So obviously there will just be a lot of people who just pick one thing, right? Like I absolutely expect that, there's a lot of experimentation to do there if you want.
I feel like they expect everyone to pick wyvern.
Like, making it so like people who just want like a simple straightforwards, like I just want to run out as bear and slam the ground, like that's certainly very possible there. But also you with this whole class you had the problem of how do we make like a spellcaster and a melee attacker that's shapeshifter as well.
You would be exciting, Bear.
For sure.
How did you make all that kind of like work together and solve that build problem of like, how do you actually scale these things together in a way that just one thing isn't way better than everything else?
Right. Well, I mean, it's always tricky, and Mark's obviously the one who handles a lot of the balance stuff. But I can see, even just from a design perspective, so I just throw over the fence all my horrible stuff, and then you're like, how the hell am I going to balance this? Effectively, like, so even with the spellcaster side, so one of the things we initially wanted with the spellcasting is a lot of it's like over time type effects that, so for example, with the volcano being the really obvious one, right? Like you can create this thing, and then you can turn into an animal and do other stuff at the same time. So we needed on the human side a lot of things that last for a long time. But the problem you then run into when you actually go to balance the thing is like, okay, well, if you've just got like 5 damage over time style spells, why not just cast all of them and then you don't have to ever do anything else, right? Like, so it's like that kind of stuff makes it really hard. So then you have to start thinking, okay, we want to make it so that you cast a long-term thing as a human, but then being an animal is going to augment that so that it improves it. So for example, with the tornado, it's got a similar mechanic to the little twisters that the hunters have, where ground effects can empower it with extra elemental stuff.
But that means you can't just play without transforming to an animal.
That can create the ground effects. Then that means that you're kind of like, you're going to want to
because then we're missing out.
Like, to mix that with the tornado, you now have to have both the animal forms and the spellcaster stuff if you want to get all of that together. So it's just a lot of that thinking about how can an animal form aid a spell, how can a spell aid an animal form, like all the way through. And then, as I said, we throw it over the fence, and then Mark tries to work out what kind of numbers can actually make it
it's a web of infinite difficulty, right? Because like we're talking about the 4 forms within the class, but each of these skills also synergizes with every other class and every other skill in the game, and it's becoming growingly more complicated. But that's also what's fun about the game and what all the things you can unlock and the crazy builds you can do. But I mean, like this,
I don't think they're going to add bear sacks. I'm sorry, guys.
Like during our alpha testing and internal testing, we had like there was the I want to be all forms going between. There was the I just want to be wolf. I just want to be bear. I just want to be a dragon.
Sorry.
And now we're getting a lot more of I just want to cast nature plant skills and do plant stuff. And so it's like, okay, well, how do we make that work? Well, because there's
you can be a freaking wyvern. Why the fuck do you want to do plant stuff?
It does just spiral into like, oh my god, there's 20 million variables here. But it's fun.
Don't say you would.
And at the end of the day, as long as it is honestly fun to play, then honestly we're golden. So,
I hate plants. That's why I have a rabbit.
There on almost everything with this class. I'd actually say we're a little bit more prepared than normal. We've had a lot of testing. Despite, I mean, partly because it's been in the works for so long. But it's, I don't know, like ultimately pretty fun. I'd say there's still something, obviously there's still more to do. There's obviously always more to do. But there's a lot going on, a lot of enjoyment. I saw yesterday, I was just like walking past someone's computer and, someone was mentioning like, yeah, it's just fun placing 6 volcanoes and then just slamming on them. I was like, all right, sweet, you do you. Like, that's fine.
I was definitely enjoying obliterating bosses in bear form, like with dropping tornadoes, and there's the totem which you can summon in animal form.
Yep.
And then you're putting fishes down and they're
But you can
exploding, and you're
fly
putting
as a
extra things on the
wyvern.
ground and they're exploding. And there was definitely some boss deletion going on there. So-
Even just walking past the just many entangles going out, and then there's that plant support gem. I'm like, all right, it's putting the new.
I see chat being like, no, Ziggy, don't get it nerfed. I do have to admit that I did already get one thing, let's say fixed.
Okay.
There was a thing that was like double generating rage. So I'm like, I don't know if this was intended.
Right.
And like, no, the designer said that's probably not intended. Thanks, Ziggy. I'm like,
You shouldn't have told them!
Sorry.
We'll see where that goes, because I was like, no, that's fine.
this is a fish.
It made it to me,
Yeah,
and
this
I
is
was
the
like, no,
fisher thing.
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because it generates rage when you first slam, and then the
So-
fishes, every time they pulse, it generates rage. I'm like,
Oh, really?
oh yeah.
Oh, shit, I didn't even know that.
Because like the totem's making it pulse, and that's generating.
Why is he telling them that?
Okay, no, that's interesting.
Seem
That's very
intentional.
It's
interesting.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
I love that because that's like
Okay.
ridiculously powerful. That
Yeah,
feels like way permissive. I was
Right.
like, this feels illegal,
fine.
but that's like. You
I
gotta
bet they're
let a
gonna
few
fix
things
it.
in there
Nah,
that
it's
feel
fine.
illegal.
It's doing what the skill says.
I may not have. Maybe I didn't get enough. Okay, cool.
I don't know. They might have changed it. I'll find out afterwards. I just throw my opinion in there. I don't want to necessarily be like, I try and make sure with a lot of these balanced discussions, it's not like, I'm just an authority on the matter. I want to actually discuss these things through, because maybe it isn't actually fine. But my first instinct is like, yeah, like,
He's
let it run
walking
wild.
back into
what's the
fine.
problem, So
Yeah, you gotta.
we'll see what happens. But whatever. They don't know what the problem is, so don't worry. Oh, now they do. Thanks, you've ruined it. Now people will know if it changed, and now
Yeah, they'll see the thing not generating rage, and they'll see
Ripped.
that line of text. Now that's the Ziggy line of text. I'm developing a reputation now.
Rip!
Just helping finding bugs. It's okay. So, like the shapeshifting stuff
Nice, Lauren.
comes
Thank you.
from this trinket. The talisman?
Yeah, the animal talisman.
And is there any limitation just kind of like putting that on another class and just say like, I am playing my mace marauder or my
Yep,
quarterstaff monk, and I want to do a wolf leap slam that marks targets.
You can do it. In
Okay,
fact, it was one of
cool.
the things initially that it's funny with the audio team, because initially like, oh, we want to record like bear lines for
Yes.
for the druid the whole time, and I'm like, hey guys, remember, anyone can turn into this animal. You're actually going to commit to every single class is going to have like a three different extra versions of every single line the character can deliver.
Maximum effort.
It's like, yeah, that's a bit tricky. So we ended up going with a voice mod in the end. But yeah, that was one of those.
It's like their thoughts. I think it shifts to. It almost sounds like, to me, that's what it sounds like. They're like, they're thinking it or something like that. I don't know.
But yeah, it would have been completely impossible to record every single line an additional 3 times
Like,
for every
all
character
right,
class.
voice actors, everybody come back and we need to roll like a bear.
Exactly,
What?
exactly. But yeah, effectively, every class can be an animal. It's exactly the same as the weapon restriction. Ultimately, being a bear is the same as having a mace, which may sound a little bit odd, but that is actually how it works and what allows having.
Whoa. I didn't even think about that. Wait, so you can use mace skills while in bear?
No. What I meant was
what?
is that it's the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it's just a weapon type, right? Like,
Yeah, right,
like,
okay.
yeah.
Damn it, now we have to make that possible.
Well, I mean, you can turn into Calm as a bear.
That's unique
but,
item territory for the future.
It often gets talked about like the idea of like, why are things like so weapon locked? And I've always maintained the position that you guys want to kind of do that as much as possible initially, and then in the future you can blur the lines a little bit. Like maybe in the future you're like, oh, well, maybe this skill has a way of crossing over.
We can do, but the thing is, a lot of the identity of a weapon type really comes a lot from what it can do, and so that's kind of the main reason why we do it that way. But but the thing is as well with the weapon swapping, so you can still use skills from different elements. Different weapons and things like that.
The thing is, like, it's funny that you mentioned that with the bear, because like definitely some of the bears, I noticed parallels between some of its skills and some of the mace stuff, and I could see absolutely combining like this bear skill that places fishes with the other.
You can
stuff on
transform into a
the
bear
mace
into
stuff.
a wolf and a
triggers the fishes.
wyvern.
Like, there's like very obvious.
And you
like,
use a
cross-
weapon to do
well, I mean,
that.
they're adjacent classes, right? I mean, you've got like strength versus strength int. Like we
I
want to be
think
able to
the
make sure that some
weapon
of those key
allows
elements
you to transform into a wyvern.
cross over, just so that to open up the way to have synergy between the different classes more easily.
Yeah.
Well, as you get more classes and more skills, you obviously get an overlap of the
Yes.
kind of mechanics and
Do you want to
keywords
go
and
back
stuff,
to do our
iterating,
fight?
and thus they will always cross synergize.
Yeah?
And where there still will be new things a class offers, yes, there's always going to be a bunch of stuff that they use that will then interact with all the other skills. So.
Yeah, and now you added plants and plants that grow from rain, and there's a plant keyword that has overgrown as a keyword.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I'm like,
It's interesting actually those
Go
ones
back?
because they're on
Go back.
completely opposite sides of the tree. You've got Dex versus Strength Int. And
This
it's a
was
little bit
super
hard
cool,
to kind of
though.
like get the where the mechanics
Yeah,
should go on
this
one
was
side
super
versus the
cool.
other. So where we ended up going is that the nature side of things for plants on the Strength Int is like you've got the poison
You
on the
guys
Dex
say
side
bye
versus
to
kind of like just
them.
pure nature
Bye.
like physical damage spells on the
Bye,
on
thank
the
you,
Strength Int
Papa
side.
Excel,
But that's
for
been fun though
working
because
so
now it's
hard
been
on the update.
it's
Can't
actually
wait
been
to
really
play
fun
it.
designing the supports because you know the more classes we have, the more we can start to think, okay, like here's a support that's for something obscure.
I
How
don't
can we make this
know.
can apply to some other kind of thing on the opposite side of the tree where like now you've got some interesting interaction.
I don't know how people are going to excuse is still playing like as a warrior or something like that when you can be a bear, you know? Just like how? You buy devs, okay. Whew. Damn, that update seems so cool, though. Do you think since the witch has some transformations already? Like, do you think that some stuff like from the witch will also buff if she transforms into like a druid animal and make her even stronger? I kind of hope so. I kind of hope that the witch because I'll be honest with you guys, I do like the druid, but at the same time I can't imagine myself as not using the witch, you know? So I'm kind of hoping that there is some bear witch interaction there that's more than just Rule 34. Is that weird?
Perilous tides ahead.
Could be, I hope so. It would be nice. I don't know, we'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Because, you
For
know,
the good of
other classes can do
Earthward.
it. Okay, so
Mathland's wisdom is subtle, turbulent, above all, unpredictable.
no, the transformation is not druid locked. It's tied to a weapon. So if you're using a weapon that allows you to transform, any class can. Were you guys paying attention? What the fuck? I don't blame you. It was a lot. It was a lot to pay attention. And there was a lot of boobs. It was a lot of boobs. And there were a lot of stuff. It was a lot going on. It was a lot going on.
Report.
We go. You were glorpy shaking? Good.